Hi, and welcome back to our adventures in MossClan. Previously, we lost our mediator Bluebell Web. He was travelling to the border that we share with WinClan to settle a dispute, and ended up getting caught in a landslide. And since his passing, tensions have been rising, and Shellstar's just trying to keep the clan calm and collected. But with their leader injured and often sleeping away his pain, they start to turn to their deputy Rattlecry for guidance, and he has some old-fashioned ways to settle disputes. We have to remember that the MossClan of his youth didn't think twice about using their claws. Shellstar is just hoping he can recover in time to stop this from escalating any further. But for this month's relations, Cherrymoor lifts their chin up when passing by Crested Web. Cherrymoor is admiring Ravenfoot from afar, and who can blame him? And Rattlecry feels safe with Cherrymoor around. And Fresh Kit is playing moss ball with Cherrymoor, which has a medium positive effect. So Shellstar's actually really proud of Fresh Kit's growth, and I think Fresh Kit was quiet, so maybe he's starting to come into himself, especially with playing with Cherrymoor. He's getting some confidence. Rattlecry is ears dropping on Fresh Kit while he's playing with Cherrymoor. And Lobos is actually thinking about taking on a new apprentice, which would be a good choice because we've seen what's happened in these couple moons where she's caring for a litter. She'd have more time to spend with her children if she'd train up someone else to share the responsibilities. 9 is wondering how Rattlecry is doing. And Fallow's just having a nice day. Ravenfoot is wishing that Fresh Kit would play a bit more quietly. It's nice and all to see her little kit gain some confidence, but they're not the only ones in the nursery. Cops Minnow is wondering what living with 2 legs must be like. And Strike Dapple is giving some advice to Dazzle Kit. Cute. Crested Web really wants to critique Cops Minnow's fighting techniques, but she knows if she even starts to bring something up, it'll mean they have to have a moon-long sparring session every morning. Cops Minnow will have it out in the training hollow. Cherrymoor saw a kitty pet sitting calmly next to a dog, which I think Crested Web saw last moon as well. Is that the same dog that's been causing trouble recently? And who's the kitty pet? And why are they so chill with it? Glowchip spends all day chatting and laughing with some of the other warriors. I'd say he's hanging out with Cops Minnow and Cherrymoor as they're talking about all this 2-leg stuff. And Bayonet Smoke actually saw a 2-leg kit playing with a kitty pet. Rippleshade also saw a kitty pet sitting calmly next to a dog. So maybe the elders wanted to go out and stretch the legs, see the territory a bit, and Cherrymoor accompanied them. And they got a bit close to the 2-leg border and ended up seeing this dog, and it quickly sent them back to camp. Dazzle Kit wakes up early to say hello to the Dawn Patrol. And Heather Kit is trying to growl menacingly. And Ravenfoot's like, that's my girl. There she is. Fierce. Ginger Kit is running like a whirlwind around camp. Hey, but no one wishes she would play more quietly. And Fresh Kit is growing fond of his sister Shine Kit. And Shine Kit's just rolling around on the ground. So I think we'd check in with Glowchip since we've been chatting with him a lot today. The moon's always fascinated me. Its serene glow lighting our path in the dark. The way it changes shape but never really disappears. They say that StarClan resides on the moon, and perhaps that's why it feels so comforting. So familiar. On nights when it's full, I find myself thinking about the countless generations of warriors who's looked up at the same moon. The moon, in its own way, unites us. No matter where we are, we all look up at the same sky, the same stars, the same moon. It's a beautiful thought, isn't it? That we're all connected by the moonlight. I think as Cherrymoor sees Glowchirp looking up at the sky in wonder, he suddenly remembers when that Tom was such a little kid abandoned, and he wonders if maybe he's hoping that his parents are looking up at the same moon he is. Now we'll have a look at what patrol we've been assigned on. Cherrymoor and Cops Minnow and Fallow. Cherrymoor finds a loner who offers their healing skills in exchange for shelter. But after hearing more about your clan, the loner politely declines joining. The clan has met Lilypen, and its reputation towards outsiders has remained neutral. I think Cherrymoor explains that they're preparing for a battle, and it would be useful to have the skills of a healer in the clan. But Lilypen's kind of shaken by that. They don't want to join a clan that's about to enter a war, so they decline. And I'd say Glowchirp is struggling with their battle moves again. We tried to help him, but this time he's too frustrated to listen, and we promised to try another time. And it's time to roll another moon. Nothing interesting happened this moon. But Cherrymoor wants to spend more time with Dazzlekit. Shellstar's broken bone has finally healed, and Ravenfoot's healed from all their scrapes. Cops Minnow was loitering around WingClan's border looking for a specific cat. And Bayonet Smoke went missing for a few days. Ooh. And here is Shellstar, all healed and feeling so much better. He's excited because he can finally take up his duties properly. So we'll have a chat with him. Do you know the greatest challenge of a leader ceremony? It's not the journey to the place of StarClan, nor is it the weight of the 9 lives you're about to receive. It's the understanding that you're about to shoulder the ups and dreams and lives of your entire clan. I have a responsibility to protect all of our clanmates. You have to promise me that you won't let the tensions rise anymore. Don't antagonize the border patrols. We need to be making friends of our neighbours, not enemies. Remember that, Cherrymoor. I'm glad you're back, Shellstar. I was starting to get worried. Rattlecry is picking bears from his pelt, and he's finally got a chance to just relax a little because Shellstar's feeling better and able to take up more of his duties. But I think a part of him will miss that responsibility. Lobuz is hoping Shellstar notices their improvement. She's always been a bit tongue-in-cheek when it comes to medicine cat duties in StarClan, but since she's had her kits, she's trying to take it more seriously to show, look, I can do both. 9 is just surrounded by kits and trying to set a good example. And Fallow wants to get to know Bayonet Smoke better. Now Ravenfoot is proud of Frishkit's growth. and Copspinnow is craving the taste of shrew. Striped Apple's giving some advice to Ravenfoot, and Crested Web thinks Cherrymoor is really pretty. I think the sun's shining brightly and its rays are casting into camp, and one catches Cherrymoor's fare and lights him up this beautiful, rusty ginger colour. Crested Web is like, huh, I never noticed how beautiful his fare is. And maybe we'd chat after that. The moon has always fascinated me. Its serene glow lighting our path in the dark. The way it changes shape but never truly disappears. Do you ever wonder if we're all looking at the same moon? So I've decided that for every repeated dialogue I'm gonna try and write some of my own dialogue. So here's Crested Web's. Her eyes turned to the cave's rocky ceiling where some lights filtered through the cracks to leave soft patterns on the floor. She looks wistful and suddenly so young. You were lucky, you know, to have Midnight Heart, she says, and Cherrymoor startles a little at the mention of his father. He still isn't used to hearing cats speak that name. My parents were killed in the siege of WindClan. Her fur bristled instinctively, and Cherrymoor moved to press close. Most of our parents were. I had barely opened my eyes, but I still remember my mother's scent. I'm sorry, Crested Web, I never knew. I never thought to ask. But they will be watching over you, proudly. Your parents and my mother. Cherrymoor felt shame settle into his fare. All these moons he'd shared with Crested Web, with all of his den mates, and he'd never once thought how it must have been growing up without their parents. He never knew his mother, but he'd never felt he needed to. Midnight Heart was there, and Midnight Heart was the only loss that weighed on him. Crested Web pulled away, and when she looked at him there was pity softening her gaze. Your mother, huh? She looked as though she wanted to say more, but shook her head. You said Shellstar told you about the battle, right? How we drove WindClan out of their territory, lost our leader? Yeah. Well, there's more to the story than he's willing to share. I think as we say our goodbyes, Cherrymoor started to feel unsettled. Shellstar had told him everything about MossClan's troubled history, so what more was there to know? Cherrymoor sees Nine surrounded by all these kits and suddenly feels warmth in his chest. Nine's a clanmate he would like to get to know better. And Glowchip feels happy knowing that there's someone other cats can talk to. Bayonet Smoke is telling scary stories to all the kits. And Rippleshade's enjoying the warm sun in the camp clearing. Might chat with her. Let me recount the tale of Brave Stripe, a courageous and strong warrior from many moons ago. Brave Stripe was valiant, but he took his strength for granted. He would take on patrols and hunting missions alone, refusing help from others. One day he encountered a badger, and despite his strength he was overpowered. He was gravely injured and only just made it back to camp. Brave Stripe learnt that strength isn't about working alone. True strength comes from teamwork and unity. Remember Brave Stripe's tale, young warrior. No cat is an island. We're strongest when we work together. Wise words from the troublesome Rippleshade. And Dazzlekit asks Rippleshade what it's like to be so old. Ugh. Whoa, you're so strong and fast. I want to be just like you one day. Will you teach me a cool move? Please, please, please. Can I see your battle scars? They look so fierce. I don't have any battle scars. Well, not yet. Heatherkit refuses to eat the herbs that the medicine cat's given them for their tummy. And Gingerkit is asking older cats how kits are born. Frushkit is scared after having a nightmare. Oh, Baba. And Shinekit is hatching a plan to sneak out of camp and play. Can't let that happen. As for our patrol, we're with Shellstar. Oh, that's nice. Shellstar suggests this might be a good chance to practice new hunting techniques with Cherrymoor. Both cats have a nice practice session, swapping their best tips and tricks with each other. It's just like the old days. As Cherrymoor hunts with Shellstar, the chat he had with Crested Web starts playing on his mind. And as they finish up the patrol and head to where they buried the prey, he grows quiet, and Shellstar's quick to notice. And he says, "I know that look, Cherrymoor. You're thinking on sync." And Cherrymoor glances at his former mentor, warmed by his familiar, easygoing smile. But he knew Shellstar well enough to notice the concern creeping into his voice. "Is sync the matter?" "No, I'm okay." Cherrymoor cuts in, offering a sheepish smile in return. "I was just wondering about the past." "The past?" "The siege of WingClan." Shellstar looks away at this, and Cherrymoor notices him picking up the pace, trying to reach the prey hole a little quicker. "We drove WingClan from the home, and both sides lost many cats. I found myself leading MossClan when I were not much younger than you. I've told you this story. It's good to remember the past, but not to dwell in it. Why are you thinking on it now?" Cherrymoor tried to stay in stride with Shellstar as he spoke, but the white Tom was padding with long, swift strides, and Cherrymoor was left trailing after him like a baby duck. "I'm not dwelling, I just want to know. Shellstar, can you please slow down?" Shellstar halted so suddenly that Cherrymoor nearly bumped into his back. "I just want to know more about MossClan, what it used to be, who we lost, our leader before you, and..." Shellstar's sigh cut him off. The young leader suddenly looked much, much older. Tired. Cherrymoor felt a flood of compassion for his former mentor, leader, close friend. "Some stories are better left untold, but this one you deserve to hear." He went on to tell Cherrymoor about Moonstar, the leader before him. She and her deputy had antagonised WingClan, and the fierce fighting pride of MossClan had led to the deaths of two of their queens, who, despite still nursing kits, had been allowed to step onto that battlefield. And how, when the battle was done and Moonstar had lost the last of her lives, they still had their deputy, Midnight Heart. But the Tom was forced to step down when Lobos appointed Shellstar as leader, claiming StarClan supported her decision. And Cherrymoor's mouth would gape at this. His father was deputy, or his father was meant to be leader, and the clan just turned their back on him. Because he remembered Midnight Heart as a reliable warrior who was strong and kind and His distress would have been clear because Shellstar moved towards him, eyes round with worry. "You must understand. We needed a different future for the clan. I was the only warrior not to spill blood that night. I knew it were wrong." "He was a good warrior," Cherrymoor said firmly, his mouth quivering. "He were, but he couldn't be leader. We couldn't risk another battle. We had to make amends with ClanGen, with StarClan. He died protecting MossClan. He died a warrior's death, and he walks with the stars now, I promise you. I saw him. He blessed me with a life." And I think Cherrymoor would start to feel himself overcome with a mixture of emotions, and he'd need a little time and distance for what that means to settle in, so he'd go away on his own just to process. You catch the scent of a mouse nearby. You locate the mouse and begin to stalk. The mouse nibbles on a seed, unaware of the hunting cat. You waggle your haunches and leap, pinning the mouse beneath a paw as you make the kill and bite. We caught more prey. And I'd say we're ready for a time skip.